Hi everyone, I'm doing my John Maxwell. So the next chapter of Make Today Count. And the chapter for this week that I read was on health, and not to take health too seriously, but also not to underestimate the importance of health. So have an alcohol now and again, have an ice cream now and again, but don't neglect your health. And that includes mental health, watching what we eat, what we're putting into our bodies, into our minds, into our spirits. So for me, one of the things that I reflect on as today's Veterans Day is all I've come through growing up in the Civil War. We never focused on the war, never focused on the fear, we never focused on we might die. Tomorrow we might walk into the street and die. Somebody might shoot us. We lived our lives openly. We enjoyed our lives. We were good kids. We had fun. We played in the sprinklers. We went to Wimpy. I used to stand outside and ask the white man, why can't I go inside? I want to go inside and sit in the restaurant. And he used to say, no, well, you can't, because that's the law. And I say, well, why is that the law? And he used to say, well, that's the government did it that way. But anyway, that's mental health as well, right? When you're growing up as a kid and you can't do things other kids are doing. And there's schools for white kids, and there's schools for black kids and colored kids and Indian kids. That's also part of mental health. But we accepted it. That's the way it was. And then independence came and we were happy. We got to stay at home, go to school at home. We didn't have to go to boarding school. We got to play sports at school, hockey, netball, basketball, tennis, swimming, javelin, shot put, long jump, high jump, you name it, we did it. We had every opportunity in our backward, third world, Africa. But it wasn't that backward. We had every opportunity. And we made it for ourselves. When the whites didn't want us in their clubs, our families built our own clubs so that we could play tennis and rounders and cricket. And we couldn't go to the public pool because it was for whites only. But when things changed, when independence came, and then my mother enrolled us to go take swimming classes, we were in dolphins. Then I went to England, and the English lifestyle is also different to other parts of the world. It rains a lot there, but you do a lot of walking. People are fit because you walk a lot. And we eat small portions. The food is healthier because, at least for me, I never bought a lot of processed foods. I always bought fresh fruits, fresh vegetables, and I shopped weekly at the local greengrocers, so I ate healthy. Then I came to Canada, and I eat a lot of processed foods because I'm tired after work. I buy my TV dinners, I put them in the microwave. When I've done the 12-hour shifts, 10-hour shifts, I'm exhausted, especially if you're working overnight. You're coming home, you're sleeping during the day, your whole body clock gets messed up. But now my schedule has changed because I got a letter from my doctor to say I can only work 8 hours a day and day shifts because it was getting too much for me. My eyes hurt when I'm finished, even with a screen protector. My hands hurt because you're working 12 hours, you're on the chats, you're listening the whole day, your ears hurt. My one friend knows, Renee, the one I keep in touch with daily in England. And she's the one that also helps me. When I get sick, she'll say, have you tried this? This worked for me. Have you tried that? That worked for me. When I got very sick, she told me how to cut up the lemons and ginger and boil that and to have that with honey. And that really helped me. I got better. But my health has changed. And my mental health got affected. When I worked on Sprint and Klarna, especially, I don't know if the Americans think everyone wants to live in their country, But I can rest assure you that we don't. One of the customers said to me, "Why did you go to Canada? Why didn't you come here to America?" I said to him, "Your country is too hard." He said, "No, you must come here. Why did you go there to Canada? You're such a good worker. You should come here. You'll make lots of money." I said, no, it's okay. I'll stay here. I said, I had a sister here. That's why I came here. And I wanted to be close to family. And he's like, "No, but we need people like you in America." He said, "I want to speak to your supervisor because you do such a good job. They should give you an increase in your wages." And the customers will say that to me now. But when I started, they used to swear at me and shout at me and scream at me. And I used to tell them, "Why are you screaming at me? You're screaming and shouting at me and saying, 'This is bullshit. You stupid fucking bitch. I want my money back.' So if your bank takes 2 to 7 days for your refund to clear, how's that my fault? If you're somewhere where your cell phone doesn't have service, how's that my fault?" Then if you tell the client will say, "It's always your fault. Take her off the campaign." I can tell you now, I do not want to go and live in America. Oh, no, thank you. They would put me on their next plane and send me right back to Zimbabwe. Because Zimbabweans don't take that. You say, "This is bullshit," we'll say, "That is bullshit" back to you. You say, "You're a stupid fucking bitch," we'll say, "You're a stupid fucking bitch." But I couldn't tell them that on the calls. So that also affected my mental health. I went for counseling because imagine if you have a 12-hour shift and on that 12 hours, at least 1 hour is of people swearing at you, shouting at you, looking for, some of them, they're just looking to get something free. As long as they can get something free, they're happy. Free shipping or discount or whatever, as long as they get something free, they're happy. I had to go for counseling because it affected me mentally. I didn't grow up with people swearing like that. When we grew up in Zimbabwe, if you come and you say, "I bought this thing and it's not working," I'll say, "Can you please help me? It's not working, I bought it. Can you help me to exchange it or return it?" And if we can't do it, we can't do it. In North America, "You stupid fucking bitch. I paid my money for that. You give it to me. Let me speak to your manager." That's how they talk. "Fuck you." That's how they talk. Imagine if you have to deal with that and you're on a 12-hour shift or a 10-hour shift. Wouldn't it affect your mental health? It affected mine. I'm not going to lie. When they took me off the one campaign, they made me stay at home. 2 weeks I stayed at home before they found me another campaign at my company. It's not like this is the first time I worked in a call center. I worked in a call center in South Africa. I used to do insurance sales. And I used to work overnight sometimes when I was a student. Sometimes I used to start at 6 a.m. But after 19 years in Canada, nothing's changed for me. I'm still at the bottom of the rug. I'm still earning minimum wage. Whatever job I get, they pay me the bare minimum. And I'm highly qualified. I've got Canadian experience now. I've got American experience. I've worked in England. I've worked in Zimbabwe. I've worked in South Africa. I've been on boards. Still, same level. Still working off debt. Still living off my overdraft. And our politicians, they want to spend billions building an underground tunnel between their parliamentary buildings. Why don't they give that money to us, to people who are struggling, so that we can come up? They're earning over 100,000 and telling us, "Oh, cut back on your Disney Channel." Excuse me? Some of us don't have Disney Channel. You have to pretend to be stupid. Say, "Oh, I'm confused. Can you know what exactly did you mean?" You know exactly what they mean, but you have to just play dumb. Just pretend like you don't know. And then don't even tell the police. The police will say, "You don't understand anything that I told you." Don't even bother. It's like Rhodesia. except in Rhodesia, we were slightly protected because our uncles and aunts and grandfathers and dads were part of the police, the civic police, and in the armies and all that. So we were slightly protected. But yeah, I will never, even if something happens, I will never go to the police. I say, really? Sorry, I'm confused. I don't understand. After what happened to me, I do not trust the police. Not at all. None, nada. So, but that's mental health, physical health. You have to look after yourself. And as for going to America, oh no, thank you. That was my dream once. I wanted to go and live in America, California or somewhere warmer. I just didn't want to. But now, no, thank you. And then I know, like, they'll say, oh no, we have to take her, let's take her and look after her. Oh no, thank you. I'm competent. I'm more than capable of making my own decisions. And even like when I went through my harassment, people were saying, oh no, she's the one, she's the one. No, I had lawyers guiding me. I had Topinski Colson, I had another lawyer, Dinesh. They read those emails before I sent them to Credit Suisse. They read them and they said, your emails are fine. I didn't need that, all that counseling and all that. I didn't need it. But because it was imposed on me, I did it. Because my doctor said, those emails that those police sent you, you better just do it. But there was nothing wrong with me. The fear and anxiety that I have is the fear and anxiety that anyone would have if they had gone through what I went through. So sometimes you also have to listen to your doctors. You have to listen to what they're saying. Not because you've done something wrong, but because if the police are not supporting you, when you are in the right, who's going to support you? I had lawyers guiding me at every step of the way in my harassment case. I still hear them on the phones. Eddie, she's sweet. And some of them, they say, this is not a game. I'm not playing games. I tell them, I'm not playing games either. So you have to know when to push back and when to listen. But I went through a lot. I used to mess myself. I'd be sitting at my computer and I couldn't control my bowels. I was working at home, so God bless me that way. I could go to the washroom, clean myself up, put on a fresh pair of panties. It was embarrassing. I used to shit in my pants when they used to shout at me like that. Because I never grew up like that. Even in the war, nobody swore me like that. No one. I told my colleagues, I said, if I could, I would swear them back. I would, but I can't do it because I'll lose my job. So, America thinks everyone wants to come and live there. No. Not everybody wants to come and live in America. Quite happy, some of us, living in Canada or living in other parts of the world. And there are places in America that are just as backwards as Africa, where they don't have electricity and water. Even in Canada, there are places where they don't have clean water, they don't have electricity, they have to boil the water. When I went to Connecticut, people are buying big urns of water to keep in their homes because they can't drink the water from the tap. And I said to my aunt, why don't you boil the water? Oh, we didn't think about that. So you see, there's advantages to growing up poor and growing up in the bush in Africa. There's advantages. There's things we learn as we grow up, and we can pass those things on to other people. But yes, being sworn at and shouted at, and you're sitting with headphones, it's going right into your eardrums. I used to finish and my ears used to be sore, and the ear and the throat are connected, so my glands used to be sore. So I used to use my lavender oil with bergamot, and that used to help me to sleep through the night. And no coffee, no tea after a certain time because of the caffeine. So all these things affect our health, and what we do today impacts tomorrow. So that's my practice on Make Today Count. Look after your mental health, look after your physical health, look after your spiritual health. Watch what you're putting into your mind, into your body. Watch what you're watching, watch what you're listening to, and also what you're putting out there to others. Because I learned, if I don't speak up and I don't push back, some of them think, oh, she's stupid. I'm talking to her like that, and I hear them. Did you hear how I spoke to her? I said, buddy, I heard exactly how you spoke to me. And some of them, I don't say anything. If they say, oh, God bless you, ma'am, I say, God bless you too. So you have to learn. Anyway, that's Make Today Count, and that's John Maxwell.